in the last few days of being down in that area, that they're bombing from very high levels. They're not coming in low for the normal sort of typical bombing runs, because there's a lot of anti-aircraft guns around, so they're bombing from a very high altitude, and that means that errors can happen. So, you know, maybe this is deliberate. We thought a few days ago, with so many bombs missing targets and going, you know, into the desert and hurting nobody, that maybe the pilots were in sympathy with the rebellion and therefore were dropping short. But you know, it's very confusing. It's not very clear what's happening, but it does seem that, of course, the line in the sand which Gaddafi's forces have drawn in Bin Jawad and is now, you know, basically that's their last point, but they may come forward. We don't know.
OK, Tony, thanks for that. Tony Bertley updating us in AlJazeera there. Well, let's bring you more on the news that there are 3 Libyan planes who've taken off from Tripoli. One has landed in Egypt, and we understand that the Libyan Deputy Defence Minister was on board. Let's speak to Ayman Mohyeddin, who's in Cairo for us. Ayman, we were saying that the Libyan general, he was a Libyan general who arrived in Egypt, actually in charge of supply and logistics, also turns out to be the Deputy Minister of Defence. Are you hearing any more about this arrival?
Well, really, the information we're getting has been somewhat sporadic from a variety of sources to try to really paint a complete picture of why he is here and who he is meeting with. We have confirmed that indeed the private jet belonging to Libyan officials arrived here in Cairo at about 1 p.m. local time. It was carrying, as you said, the Deputy Defense Minister, who also carries a military rank, that of a general in charge of supply and logistics. But we certainly don't have any more information as to who he may be meeting with. Now, we were getting word from other sources, including the state information newspaper here, Al Ahram, which was reporting that the Prime Minister, the new Prime Minister, Assam Sharaf, was in fact in a cabinet meeting. He cut that meeting short to head towards the Supreme Council of the Armed Forces building, and there was some speculation that in fact there was a meeting taking place between these Libyan officials, or we should say rather one senior Libyan official and his assistant, with the Supreme Council of the Armed Forces. We were also getting some information that a meeting could be taking place with the Secretary General of the Arab League, Amr Moussa. That yet has not been confirmed, though, so still no clear picture as to why they are in Cairo and who they may be meeting with at this time.
Yeah, a lot of intrigue about that. It is interesting that the Arab League are meeting in Cairo because the Arab League, of course, are going to discuss a no-fly zone in Libya. So is there speculation that perhaps the Deputy Defence Minister is there to try and persuade them against that?
Well, certainly, you know, the League of Arab States, since the beginning of the Libyan uprising, has had some strong words against the Libyan government. Maybe not going as far as some would have liked to see the League of Arab States, but nonetheless, it has taken some measures against Libyan officials, and among them, suspending the participation of any Libyan delegation at any level, really, from any meetings at the League of Arab States. And so, as you were mentioning, there could be that meeting on Saturday, the emergency session involving the foreign ministers. Could be now that this senior Libyan official is here trying to negotiate the participation of a Libyan delegation at that meeting, or perhaps to allow the Libyan government to make a case to the League of Arab States, which, as we understand it, is considering the possibility of imposing a no-fly zone with the African Union. Now, the League of Arab States has not gone so far as to say it would endorse such a measure, but nonetheless, it has rejected any foreign military intervention and is at the same time saying that the Libyan government must stop any acts of violence against civilians. It is calling on the international community to provide assistance to neighboring countries who have absorbed so many of the nationals and people fleeing the fighting in Libya. And so certainly the League of Arab States could find itself in the presence of a Libyan delegation, if indeed that is why they are here to negotiate that. Okay,
well, I'm sure you'll keep us posted as you find out more details of exactly what is going on there. Ayman, thanks very much indeed for that. Let's go back to Ras Lanuf, and as you can see, airstrike there on an oil storage facility. We're trying to get our correspondent Jackie Rowland back on the phone. She's very close to Ras Lanuf. She's having to take cover, obviously, because of what's happening there. Jackie, are you on the line for us? I would take that as a no. We'll try and get her back. But what we're being told, just to update you, is that there are renewed airstrikes on the port of Sidra, which is the oil facility there in Ras Lanuf. We're also being told that a battle is underway in western Bin Jawad between rebels and Gaddafi forces. So a lot of military action going on the ground there in Libya. Let's speak to Safwat Al-Zayed. He's in the studio with me. He's a retired Egyptian brigadier general. Good to have you with us, and I believe that we're going to speak to you through about the military operations going on ground. First of all, you've seen the pictures in Ras Lanuf. Tell me, why would Gaddafi use planes to attack a town where huge damage could be done to his own oil facilities?
هذه نقطة تطور هامة اليوم في هذه الساعة. أن تنقل هذه الصورة الآن للسيتويشن روم في البيت الأبيض وفي غرف عمليات
being viewed by the Situation Room in the White House and the NATO and many other countries in the European Union. I believe the Colonel Gaddafi did not wish to see this, and since the beginning of the revolution he did not target any of the oil on installations. He wished today or tomorrow to seize Ras Lanuf and take control the majority of the oil resources in Libya. However, it seems that today he is acting from far from his base in Sirte and Tripoli. It also seems that the training levels among his forces are very poor, and the use of air force by air jet, which does not enjoy the high tactics and high capabilities we see in the American or any other modern jet fighters. I believe it is, as you may interpret, or many can interpret, that he started systematic organized act to ruin and destroy the oil installations of the Jamahiriya of Libya. To me, I believe this would expedite the Security Council to hand down the resolution against him. These pictures aired by AlJazeera today is of great significance. A high number of casualties and destruction of a country's resources. We are reaching the moment of truth, the so-called the no-fly zone over Libya.
What capabilities do the rebels have in withstanding these kind of attacks from the air and the equipment that Gaddafi's forces have?
I believe for the first time in 2 days we see huge developments, although it is very slow in the combat capabilities of the revolting. I don't call them rebels, as you say. I call them revolting simply for the reason that they have their own ethics. I believe today they have, as we have been following, they have seized the anti-craft missiles, which is from 20 to 30 kilometers range. So I can say they are capable of engaging in combats from far. This provides them with capability. They provide them also with security and high firing capabilities and a wide range of combat on the other side. We have heard that they have reached Bengal.